Consent of the governed. Vision Press Production News Media. In the course of human events, there has not been a people who had the power to consent to actions in the world for we the people as a government. The government of the United States of America under the consent of the governed is the rule of law. Warren E. Burger, Chief Justice of the United States, 1969 to 1986, Chairman of the Commission wrote, "In the last quarter of the 18th century, there was no country in the world that governed with separated and divided powers, providing checks and balances on the exercise of authority by those who governed. A first step toward such a result was taken with the Declaration of Independence in 1776, which was followed by the Constitution drafted in Philadelphia in 1787, and in 1791 the Bill of Rights was added. Each had antecedents back to Magna Carta and beyond. The work of 55 men at Philadelphia in 1787 marked the beginning of the end of the concept of the divine right of kings. In place of the absolution of monarchy, the freedom flowing from the document created a land of opportunities. Ever since then, discouraged and oppressed people from every part of the world have made a beaten path to our shores. This is the meaning of our Constitution. Consent of the governed is the key to the United States of America. Chronologically, let us look at vital dates in history that show the concept of consent of the governed. C-SPAN/America's Network printed in observance of the U.S. Constitution's 200th anniversary a small booklet with the Constitution, Bill of Rights, and a section entitled, Dates to Remember. May 25, 1787. The Constitutional Convention opens as a quorum of delegates from 7 states convenes in Philadelphia, to discuss revising the Articles of Confederation. Soon, representatives from 12 of the 13 states are in attendance. Rhode Island alone will not join the convention. July 13, 1787, the Confederation Congress, meeting in New York, passed the Northwest Ordinance with its anti-slavery provision, its Bill of Rights and its guarantee of religious freedom. Each of these was eventually added to the Constitution. September 17, 1787, the Constitution is approved by all 12 state delegations, and is signed by 39 of the 42 delegates present. The convention formally adjourns. September 28, 1787, the Congress of the Confederation resolves to submit the Constitution to the states for ratification. The document is to take effect after 9 of the 13 states approve it. December 7, 1787, Delaware is the first state to ratify the Constitution. Unanimous, 30 yeas. December 12, 1787, Pennsylvania becomes the second state to ratify the Constitution. 46 yeas, 23 nays. December 18, 1787, New Jersey becomes the third to ratify the Constitution. Unanimous, 38 yeas. January 2, 1788, Georgia becomes the fourth state to ratify the Constitution. Unanimous, 26 yeas. January 9, 1788, Connecticut becomes the fifth state to ratify the Constitution. 128 yeas, 40 nays. February 6, 1788, Massachusetts becomes the sixth state to ratify the Constitution, but only after Federalists propose 9 amendments, including one which would reserve to the states all powers not expressly delegated to the federal government by the Constitution. 187 yeas, 168 nays. April 28, 1788, Maryland becomes the 7th state to ratify the Constitution. 63 yeas, 11 nays. May 23, 1788, South Carolina becomes the 8th state to ratify the Constitution. 149 yeas, 73 nays. June 21, 1788, the Constitution becomes official when New Hampshire ratifies it, the 9th state to do so. 57 yeas, 47 nays. June 25, 1788, Virginia becomes the 10th state to ratify the Constitution, but recommends a Bill of Rights for American citizens. 89 yeas, 79 nays. July 26, 1788, New York becomes the 11th state to ratify the Constitution. 30 yeas, 27 nays. February 4, 1789, presidential electors select George Washington as the first president of the new government, and John Adams as the vice president. States elect representatives and senators for the new U.S. Congress. March 4, 1789, the first U.S. Congress convenes in New York City. April 30, 1789, George Washington is inaugurated as the first President of the United States. September 24, 1789, Congress establishes a Supreme Court, 13 district courts, 3 circuit courts, and the position of Attorney General. November 21, 1789, North Carolina becomes the 12th state to ratify the Constitution, after Congress proposes a Bill of Rights. 194 yeas, 77 nays. May 29, 1790, Rhode Island ratifies the Constitution, the last of the original states to do so. 34 yeas, 32 nays. December 15, 1791, Virginia ratifies the Bill of Rights, and the amendments become part of the U.S. Constitution. The consent of the governed made it happen. On November 7, 2023, upon the consent of the governed, a new local government was elected by the electorate of the Borough of Coalport. None of the elected was appointed. No tax evaders were elected. No actors of tyranny were elected by the consent of the governed. The order of the Honorable Court was overturned by the consent of the governed. According to the Constitution of the United States of America, the intent of the Founding Fathers was the consent of the governed. Vision Press Production is pleased to announce that the Honorable Carole Kruis and the Honorable Thomas Hilliard was elected to seats on the Coalport Borough Council for 2024 and beyond. Thank you electorate for your consent of the governed to elect honorable councilors to a new council. Respectfully. Vision Press Production.